Hey, hello everyone. This is Harold, and in this video I will share 5 tips on how to become a better bird watcher or better birder. And of course, there are many tips and recommendations to give, but these 5 tips, 5 recommendations are just from my own experience. I've been bird watching on a regular basis since I know maybe just over 5 years since I've been studying international forest and nature management. I became interested in bird watching. So these 5 tips are from my own experience, and I have been. I was thinking about making this video for quite a few days, but the weather has been very bad lately here in the Netherlands, and actually I have been in Costa Rica for 2.5 weeks in December. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I've been there for to orientate myself, as it is my dream to live there with my family on a I'm actually planning to move to Costa Rica this year, and I came back the 24th of December, just before Christmas, and I had a jet lag and I had to recover from that, and spend time with my family. And my oldest child has holidays from school, so he was at home, and the weather was bad. Children are at home, so I didn't have too much time to make some videos. And but actually today the weather was quite good. Actually this morning the sun was shining. It's still a little windy. I apologize if the wind is causing a little noise on the background of this video, but I finally had the chance to make this video. So so let's start. The first tip that I want to give you is buy some good pair of binoculars. That's what I did when I started bird watching. I had some binoculars at home, but you could use them in the theater. There was small binoculars, but I invested in some good pair. Good pair of binoculars. There are many brands that do have good pair of binoculars. It also depends on your budget. I invested in some good pair of binoculars, high end. I use Swarovski. It's one of the better binoculars out there. So binoculars are very important. Second tip, try to identify birds. There are a lot of bird species. Depends on where you live, but here in the Netherlands we, especially during migration, we have a lot of bird species here. And it's important to try to identify bird species, not only by sight, but also by call and by song. Sometimes birds don't show themselves. They can be elusive. Some corn, some creek species here in the Netherlands, or bitterns, they can be they can be quite elusive, hiding themselves in the between the reeds. So learn how to identify them by sound and by call. I was just looking at some goose species at a field, just behind here, and there were some pink-footed goose. That is quite a rare species here in my hometown. It's not that rare here in the Netherlands, but around my municipality it's quite rare, and you will find them during winter. It's a migratory species from I think from Northern Europe probably, and they come here to winter here in the Netherlands. And yeah, I've seen this species only twice now, and yeah, I also I always have a hard time identifying goose species. They all look the same, and yeah. So, but now I had the chance to look at this species for the second time, and you know, had a better look. I invested in a telescope last year. After 4 years of bird watching, you know, it was time to invest in some more equipment. So this telescope gives you also you know, better views in birds, especially when they're quite far away, like here in the Netherlands. You know, you have to, especially here in the open fields, and we have some open water. You know, the birds are far away, but yeah. So try to identify bird species. Yeah, by sound, calls, but also by sight. Third tip: go out in the field a lot. That's what helped me. Also, you know, identifying birds, learn about them, but also, you know, get to know your area. Here in the Netherlands, you know, the country is flat. We don't have any. We hardly have any mountains. Some in the south, but and here we use our bicycles a lot. So you can go everywhere on your bicycle, and yeah, try to spend as much time as possible in the field. Yeah, learn about birds, seeing them as much as you can. That's also yeah, how to get to know them, and then you will become more keen in identifying them. And yeah, so tip number 4: learn about the habitat of the birds, different bird species. You know, it's quite obvious that you won't go look for I don't know, ducks in in the desert, to give a you know, a silly example, but you know, some birds can be use specific habitat, and yeah, it's a good idea to spend a lot of time in the field and learn about the habitat of different bird species. As I've said, some crake species or some bitterns, they can be quite elusive, but you can find them and identify them if you know where to look for them. You know, we have in spring we have some rare species of crake, little crake, and you know, they use some specific reed fields here in the Netherlands, and usually you don't get to see these birds. You have to identify them by call, and usually they you know, they call at night or early in the morning. So yeah, that's really important. How to identify birds. They sometimes use a specific habitat, and yeah, so that's the tip number 4: learn about the habitat of different bird species. And the last tip that I want to give you is try to make friends that also like bird watching. Or you can join a you know, every city or every area, country has bird watching groups. You know, the friend groups. I'm in a WhatsApp group here in my municipality for rare bird species here in my area, and you know, together you see more, and you know, sometimes other people are more keen in identifying birds by sight, or maybe you are better in identifying bird species by sound or call. So you know, together you can see more, and you know, that's the fun part. I usually go on my own. Sometimes I join others in bird watching. You know, if you're bird watching in a specific area, or a bird watching spot you like, you know, you meet other people and you talk about birds, and you know, what species have you seen. You know, you can learn from others. So that's tip number 5. And yeah, what I forgot to tell you about identifying birds, the second tip, is there's so much information available right now on the internet. I'm using websites a lot. You know, here in the Netherlands we have waarneming.nl. There's also the international equivalent of that website is called observation.org. And yeah, maybe the most well-known bird identification or a bird website is ebird.org. It's been used a lot by in the United States. Here in the Netherlands, not so much. But yeah, you can learn so much about birds. It helped me a lot using these websites. And there's also a website for identifying bird songs and bird calls. I use xenocanto.org a lot. So xeno/canto.org. You can find so many bird songs and bird calls. So that also helped me a lot to identify birds by sound and by call. And also, what I forgot to mention is buy a bird guidebook. You can buy guidebooks. You know, I use the Birds of Europe, but there are also specific bird books about, you know, special families, waders or goose or ducks or whatever you can think of. So yeah, that's also a good idea. Buy a bird guidebook, and this will also help you, you know, identify birds and learn about them. Mostly these guidebooks, you know, they give a description on how to identify them, or what habitat they use, what songs they make or calls. So yeah, I think that's most of the tips. You know, these are the 5 tips that I want to share with you in this video. I hope you like it. And yeah, if you like this video, you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Hit the notification bell so you will be notified every time I upload a new video. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.